Alrighty. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are doing very well in this time of physical distancing. Appreciate you all taking the time this afternoon to chat with all of us and have a dialogue about what makes each of you and all of us uniquely UCF sociology. Just a few housekeeping items before we get going. In a moment here, I'm going to mute everyone just to drown out the background noise. So apologies for doing that. Just want to make sure with 50 people on the line that we have a good connection for all. So I am going ahead and muting everyone right now. All right. So as we get going here, I'm going to introduce a few of our opening speakers. But first, I want to just welcome again all of you to our uniquely UCF Sociology virtual house today about our graduate program. Today, our goal is simple. It's to share what makes each of us and you all uniquely UCF Sociology. In terms of the logistics for today, as you saw from the schedule that was sent out over email, we have about 60 minutes of lightning talks planned and welcome remarks, which will be from certain faculty and students. And then from 3 to 3:30, we'll have 30 minutes of breakout room sessions. That, I think, is going to be the most exciting part of the conversation, where we're able to have 3 concurrent sessions broken up with faculty, students, staff, and alumni and community partners to discuss and dialogue about any sort of thing they're interested in related to uniquely UCF sociology. We'll talk more about that later in the call, and that's kind of the plan for today. Before we get going, I also want to give credit where credit is due here to Dr. Fernando Rivera, professor of sociology, who you hear from in a little bit. He was the one that actually suggested that we host virtual open house events. We're very fortunate to have that suggestion and be able to pull this off with a lot of support from our students, faculty, and staff. And again, to thank all of you for joining us. With that, I'd like to open the event with a set of welcome remarks from our chair, Dr. Lee Mustaine, and our associate chair, Dr. Shannon Carter, as soon as I unmute both of them. All right, Libby, you're unmuted.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to see so many faces today. This is absolutely incredible and so encouraging. As Dr. Hawthorne noted, I'm Libby Mustaine. I'm the chair of the department. Here in sociology, we are committed to excellence and community, and we strive for interactive, collaborative learning and research. So get to know each other and discover who else shares interests similar as you. I think one of the things that makes us unique here at UCF in sociology is the faculty and the fantastic research experiences that you all will have as students in the department. We have many faculty members whose research involves working with the community in order to have a positive impact on the Central Florida region and its residents. For example, we have faculty who are evaluating the effectiveness of the NCAA's Act Because You Care campaign to educate college students on how to recognize and respond to the signs of acute alcohol poisoning. We have some faculty who are working on identifying the ways in which alcohol influences sexual relationships and sexual aggression. Faculty use drones to map environmental and community problems. Sociology faculty are partnering with faculty from the UCF School of Medicine to develop a mobile clinic for homeless individuals focused on reducing hepatitis A transmission and connecting patients to care. We also have faculty who are looking at the social determinants of prescription and illegal drug abuse, how social relationships are shaped by non-human animals, disentangling racial and income disparities of food environments and adult obesity prevalence, racialized representations of social groups in popular media and advertising, identifying and understanding the flow of information on social networking sites, comparing women's experiences with domestic violence across the socioeconomic spectrum, getting to know artists in the local art scene, examining the use of shared breast milk among mothers of infants, And we have several faculty who are working together to explore the experiences of Hispanic students who are attending a Hispanic serving institution. And this is just a few of the fantastic projects we are working on in sociology. And don't get me started on all the methodological approaches or data analysis strategies that you can use. GIS, qualitative or quantitative methods. All right, I won't get started on that. I'm excited for you all to be coming to UCF in the fall, and I'm excited for you to find out what makes us unique here at UCF in sociology. Enjoy the open house.
Thank you, Dr. Mustaine. We appreciate your welcome remarks. And now I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Shannon Carter, our Associate Chair, to also welcome us.
Hi, everyone. First, I just want to thank Tim and also Bridget for putting this together and bringing everyone together today. Thank you all for joining us for our first virtual open house. I'm happy to see so many familiar faces here and also some new ones. So first, I just wanted to say to our returning graduate students, thanks to all of you for your perseverance. We definitely had a challenging end of the 1920 academic year, and you all are still with us, and we made it through, and I think many of us are thriving, so congratulations for that, and thank you for joining us. And to our new students, welcome to the department. As you can see, we have a resilient group of people who are here because we're passionate about making the world a better place, and using evidence to do that, and understanding you know, how societies work. And I think in these uncertain times, our work is as relevant as it's ever been. I think one of the things that is very uniquely UCF is the diverse array of topics that we study, that Libby mentioned many of them. The location that we're in gives us opportunities to study urban communities, rural communities. We have Disney, we have beaches. So there's a lot of different groups here to study and a lot of different types of areas. I look forward to getting to know each of you and working with you and building collaborations and relationships with others. If you have any questions after this event, feel free to reach out to me, and we can talk by email, phone, or Zoom. So welcome and enjoy the program.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. Appreciate those welcome remarks. Now we're going to turn it over to our president of the Sociology Graduate Student Organization, Ms. Ashley Stone, who is also a PhD student in our department. So Ashley, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hawthorne. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashley Stone, and I'm a third-year doctoral student and the founding president of the Sociology Graduate Student Association. On behalf of SGSA, I want to welcome all of the incoming graduate students to the department and congratulate all of you on being admitted. Applying to graduate school is no easy task, as we all know, and yet you are here continuing your education joyfully. In the fall, SGSA will celebrate its one-year anniversary. In the past year, we've worked with faculty to develop a series of successful events, including professional development workshops, as well as other activities to promote engagement between students and faculty. While I am extremely proud of what we have done this year thus far, I have to admit that the work that we're doing is not entirely new. As an organization, we stand on the shoulders of faculty and students who, over the past several years, have been working to create this space for development and engagement. It is the spirit of collaboration between faculty and students that makes our department unique. I thought about what I should speak on today, just briefly. I want to brag about the graduate students, if that's okay, really quickly. I want the incoming students to know who exactly you're going to be working with. So there are 4 things I want you to take away about us today. First, we come from all over the country. Some students are coming from around the state of Florida, from Weston, Fort Myers, and Boca Raton. Others are coming from as far away as New York, Los Angeles, Baton Rouge, St. Louis, and of course, my hometown, Chicago. Second, we have academic backgrounds that are extremely diverse, from communication to African American studies, psychology, LGBTQ+ studies, and business administration. Third, like our professional and academic backgrounds, our research interests are diverse. I think Shannon and Dr. Mustaine covered that during their remarks, but a few things, other things the students are working on: third wave feminism and hip hop, and the impact of colorblind ideology on racial socialization. We are also involved in more than just research. In addition to founding SGSA, we hold memberships in a number of professional organizations, including the Southern Sociological Society, the Homicide Research Working Group, the American Sociological Association, and the Society for the Study of Social Problems. Finally, we are also a very accomplished group, if I might say so. Graduate students in our department have been recognized for their excellence in graduate teaching, have been on both the Dean's List and the President's List, and are the recipients of many prestigious fellowships. I could go on about our achievements in the department, but in the interest of time, I'll stop here. But I say all of that to the incoming students because I want you to know that what you are bringing to the program is just as valuable as what you will be gaining from it. The talent and skill sets that you bring and that you possess will be enhanced by your work with other graduate students and faculty. So as you prepare for the fall, the same diligence that you use to apply to the doctoral and master's programs is the same diligence that you'll need to remain in the program. And there are likely a range of questions that you have as the fall semester approaches. So beginning in the month of June, SGSA will host a couple of virtual meetings designed for incoming students to engage with current graduate students to discuss how to prepare for your first year. You'll receive more information about that soon. In the meantime, take a breath, then take another one. Take good care of yourself and rest assured that you belong in this program because you were chosen. Once again, to our incoming students, thank you for joining us today. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you for those wonderful remarks, Ashley. And let me just echo the excitement we have for working even more closely with the graduate student organization. Ashley and the leadership and I have had several great conversations to kind of think through some shared programming and ideas for the fall, so we're very excited to move forward. Now I have a few minutes as the incoming graduate director to share a little bit about some additional points related to the graduate program. Firstly, like everyone else, I'd like to welcome all of you, for those that have chose to begin your career with us, and also those that are continuing your graduate career with us in the sociology department. As your incoming graduate director, I wanted to stress the excitement that we have for each of you joining us as colleagues this fall semester. And for those of you on the call that are thinking about our program in the future, we also hope that today gives you a strong sense of what our department can offer you as a potential student in our department. We recognize in this uncertain moment we're all in with physical distancing. We understand the uncertainty that comes with that, especially as graduate students and faculty and staff, but we want to reassure you our commitment to your success and growth will be the #1 priority for all of us as we continue on with our graduate program beginning this fall. We're excited today to share how we are all uniquely UCF Sociology. I wanted to take a few minutes now to share some of my core values as the incoming graduate director and ways that I think I can best serve all of you as students, faculty, and supporters of our department. The first way is thinking through a leadership statement and a vision statement as your graduate director. And so for me, what it's all about as the graduate director is to elevate the lived experience and knowledge bases of our graduate students, our faculty, our staff, our alumni, and our community partners through diverse and shared learning experiences. And the way I think that can happen as your graduate director is through 4 core leadership values that I hope to bring to this department, to our students, and to all of us working to become even more uniquely UCF Sociology. So core value 1 as a graduate director, I want to be intentionally positive. As we explore the grand challenges of sociology, society, and related areas and disciplines, I want us to be intentionally positive and solutions-oriented in our thinking. I think that can go a long way. Secondly, I want to remind you that we as a group of graduate faculty and staff are here centered on your student experience. We place the development and the aspirations of our graduate students at the core of what we do as faculty and the core of our graduate committee decision-making as we move forward. A third core value is I believe that we are very diverse and very inclusive. We value all forms of knowledge, and we are actively engaged in making our work and our graduate program more diverse and inclusive. The fourth core value is I think that we are always aspirational. We see our work as ambitious and forward-thinking. We're a department of change agents. We're aiming to push the boundaries of conventional disciplinary thinking as we work towards solutions for society's greatest challenges. In relation to my leadership style as your incoming graduate director, I also want to stress that communication, transparency, and open dialogue are going to be key elements of what I hope to bring to the graduate program over the next few months. Two ways that I'd like to just allude to today to support that. First is a regular semester set of graduate student gatherings where we can have a virtual or in-person lunch where the graduate director, other faculty and staff are welcome to join, and students can join to sit down and just have a casual conversation about what's working in the graduate experience, what we can celebrate in the graduate experience, and what we can improve in the graduate experience. And I think that will help us continue to open the dialogues and communication channels as well. The second, in addition to our graduate program of faculty and staff, we also are interested, or I'm interested in creating a graduate program excellence advisory board that relies on our alumni as our partners and additional graduate students to help us shape the excellence and the path forward for UCF sociology. So I'll be sharing more about both of those communication initiatives over the next few months. But again, I hope in sharing all of this vision, it gives you a strong sense that we are committed to you, your success in our program, and for the faculty and staff on the call, we are also committed to ensuring that we can continue to support your mentoring and your incredibly wonderful work that you do with each of your students as well. I'm excited to get started with all of you, and now I'm excited to get into the main points of pride of our program. We've created a set of 5-minute lightning talks from various faculty and students in the departments to share what we believe makes us uniquely UCF sociology. For moving forward, we're going to open with our first speaker, who is Dr. Jonathan Cox, an assistant professor of sociology in our department. He will share some remarks on mentoring between faculty and students. Dr. Cox, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I appreciate the introduction. And so we know we're doing these lightning rounds, so I will be quick, hopefully not too speedy. So I just want to speak really quickly and briefly on mentoring within our department for graduate students. Our faculty regularly work with graduate students to help mentor them in many ways. And I think one of the things that we do really well as a unit is that we get to know our students and what their professional aspirations are. So not only do we want you to learn how to be a sociologist, but we also want you to succeed at whatever passion you decide to pursue. And so if you want to work at a research-intensive university as a faculty member, if you want to work in a private sector or for a nonprofit, however you want to use your sociological skills, we really want to make sure that you have the tools necessary to achieve these goals. I know we do this through consistent formal and informal mentoring. And so I could talk just a little bit about some of the types of mentoring that happens in our department. That may be mentoring with grad students to help them apply for internal or external funding opportunities and awards. That could be anything from a small amount of money that helps with some research that you're doing, could be money for a conference travel, maybe even a dissertation fellowship or a grant. So we really push students to do that and really give them the tools necessary to make that happen. We also do a lot of mentoring for conference submissions and presentations. So one thing we can note that's really, I think that this goes to this point of being uniquely UCF is that as a department, we have probably the biggest, I would say, level of representation, particularly at our regional conference, the Southern Sociological Society. We always have students who not only attend this conference, but present it every year. We have students who are doing this, right? And that the same goes for other conferences like ASA or SSSP, ACS. These are all conferences that you will get to know if you don't already know about as you're enrolled in this program. So again, we really push students to be able to do that, and we help mentor them through those processes. We also do mentoring for the job market, right? One of the reasons you're going to graduate school is to become gainfully employed once you are finished. And so we really help to prepare students for job interviews, whether that's through mock job talks or helping you prepare your CV or other application materials that you may need. We also do mentoring for effective teaching strategies, right? Whether that's online, which we know is a really big deal right now, or face-to-face courses, right? We really work with students to make sure that they feel like they have the ability to do these things. Other things that, maybe echo some of the stuff you've heard from other people already today, our faculty regularly publish with students. And that means we bring students, in on existing projects that we might have in order for them to just gain some practical experience with research, or maybe even helping graduate students, particularly the more advanced graduate students, run their own projects with faculty support. And so part of our goal in UCF sociology is really to prepare you to be successful colleagues who then contribute to the field, right? And so we want you to shine. So we really try to do everything we can to get you to that process where you're being able to do this stuff on your own. Again, and that's through support from all of the faculty. Moving on, right, whatever our faculty are involved in, you heard about a lot of different things that are going on already. That could be research that's in conjunction with local community partners in other cities or states, maybe even abroad. All of our faculty really encourage and support graduate student involvement, right? We want you to be involved in these things, and we try to mentor you through what it's like to be involved with these. So then again, you can get the experience and then also potentially start your own things in the future. Then again, another thing I think is really great about our particular program is that here you have the ability to work with and be mentored by multiple faculty members, right? You're not limited to just the faculty that you're assigned as a mentor, right? You can go beyond that. And our faculty across the board are very open, available, and willing to work with lots of students, right? And so a lot of our current students really take advantage of this fact and try to be mentored for different things or in different ways by the different graduate faculty, right? And again, we're all really open to that. Beyond that, the faculty in our department have a wide range of experiences and perspectives, right? So it gets into a little bit more of the informal mentoring. And so as you're building relationships with us as faculty, you can find people to mentor you through many of the things that are not necessarily covered in a sociology course, right? So how to navigate graduate school or graduate student life as a parent, how to navigate careers as a parent, how to incorporate previous careers or fields of study into sociology, right? Maybe some of you are coming from other areas or other areas of study and career levels, and we want to help you bring that in. It could be navigating the academy as a woman or dealing with marginalizing experiences as a person of color, right? We care about you as a whole person in this department, and it really comes through in the ways in which our faculties mentor a lot of our folks, right? And so I hope this sheds a little bit of light. I know it was really quick again, just a little bit of light into our program. So please feel free to ask me as well as any of our other faculty about mentoring practices and your desires for being mentored throughout this program. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Cox. We appreciate those comments. Next up, we have Dr. Amy Donnelly, who's an associate professor of sociology and also the director of the Institute for Social and Behavioral Sciences. She's going to share a little bit on how the department supports academic and non-academic career paths. So Dr. Donnelly, please take it away.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hawthorne, and hello, everybody. It's so good to see you all. So I was looking in the Bureau of Labor Statistics the other day for a project and decided to look up kind of the prospects for sociologists in the future, and I'm very happy to report we're looking at 9% job growth over the next 10 years. And a lot of that will be in academia, but even more so, we're going to see growth in government, healthcare and research firms, criminal justice systems, and beyond. And in our department, we really want to make sure that we're preparing students for a career in any of those spaces. So of course we have, for the PhD students, support for traditional career paths in academia, and Dr. Cox alluded to some of these, and that's assistance in preparing your application materials in preparation for job talks that are historically were done in the department with students and faculty, but most recently were done on Zoom. And I wanted to add too that we have resources on campus that will help prepare you for that as well through the Graduate Center, and they actually have very good facilities where you can do interviews through Skype and things like that. For non-career academic paths, I want to talk about for the master's program, for those in the master's program, we have a traditional thesis option, but also a non-thesis option. And this is an interesting opportunity for students who know that they don't want to go on to get a PhD, they want to go on to work in the community. It allows you to partner with a local agency and develop a project that lets you apply what you've been learning on campus out in the environment. So some examples, we had a student who evaluated a project at Nemours Hospital. Another recently developed materials for caregivers that had a loved one that had Alzheimer's. So she worked with the physician to develop these materials. And then another tracked program participants kind of to measure the impact of the program. This was through iDignity, which is a program that helps people get identification. So it allows for students to conduct research in the community and apply your skills working with an agency. At the PhD level, while all students are writing a dissertation, that dissertation can look different, right? It doesn't have to be a very traditional one. It can have kind of a more applied focus if that's what the student is interested in. Very recently, just this past semester, I served on a committee Dr. Rivera chaired, and this student was looking at data from a program in the College of Sciences where she worked. This was for students on academic probation. So very applied focus. Our graduates have had great success in both traditional academic paths and in more applied paths after graduating. At the master's level, a student I worked with for the last 2 years, actually, and before that as an undergraduate, she is working with Children's Home Society, and they actually created this position for her. And if you don't know, they're the largest children's welfare agency in the state of Florida, and they created the position of research and evaluation coordinator for her. And so now she's really developing what they need to be evaluating across the state. Another, Carla Cox, she is the program director at United Against Poverty, which is the largest social service agency in Central Florida. For PhDs, kind of traditional academic paths, they've ended up in a lot of different types of institutions. So some research focused, like the University of Florida, private liberal arts colleges like Rollins College, Loyola University, and New Orleans, and in state and community colleges like Brevard State College. And those are just the ones I could think of a few minutes ago. There are many, many more than that. On the non-traditional path, we've had PhD students go on to Bureau of Labor Statistics, Dress for Success, and two actually partnered up to form their own research firm that has been very successful, and they're based out in Seattle. And as Dr. Hawthorne mentioned, I'm also the director of the Institute for Social and Behavioral Sciences, and that is a community-based research institute that is housed in the department. And through that institute, we fund 1 to 2 graduate students per year, and they work as graduate research assistants. But more informally, we work with many students, and many undergraduates, and a couple that I see on this call, and doing projects with local agencies and governments. And we really want to expand those opportunities for students. So if you are interested in that, I would be very happy to talk to you individually at any point. And that's it for me now.
Thank you, Dr. Donnelly. We appreciate your comments. Next up, we'd like to move on to Dr. Scott Carter, who is an associate professor of sociology. He's going to be sharing his thoughts on the opportunities for collaborative writing between faculty and students in the department. Dr. Carter, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I think my computer's going to die. Hold on just a second. Just as I'm about to talk. All right. So I'd like to build on what Dr. Cox said earlier. I was thinking to myself, what does collaboration mean to our department? And I really was giving it a lot of thought. And the first thing that came to my mind when I thought of our sociology department is how open we are to doing research with students. This is one of the most open departments I've ever been a part of. And we're open with working with different topics, with different methodologies. I think, the other departments I've been a part of have not been so open to working on different topics with different methodologies and analytical strategies. So I'd like to add that this department is very receptive to different topics and different ideas. So why is collaboration important? So the first thing I came up with is that collaboration is fundamental to our mission as a graduate sociology department. So in other words, it's our jobs really as faculty to train students to do research in sociology. So when you come to us and we're talking to you about research, that's a big part of what we do at the university. So you don't feel like you're taking our time up or taking too much time, because that's kind of what we do, and it's really important to us. So two, I think this is very fundamental to our sociology department, is that we are a better department, we are a better faculty, our research is better when we have active participants, graduate students participating in research. I think that's kind of at the heart of a lot of PhD programs, but it's definitely at the heart of our PhD programs. And I kind of was reflecting on this personally, and I think my research has been enriched by many of my conversations with grad students. So I think this is, so when you go talk to a faculty member about your research interests, or how you're interested in their research interest. Understand that it goes both ways. So not only is the faculty maybe assisting you in developing your strengths as a researcher or your ideas as a researcher, you're also kind of helping us develop ideas. I just had a student come to me and we were talking over ideas, and I had actually never heard of this network that was in line with my research interests. And so it's got me really thinking about this different network and how it relates to my research. I would have never thought of that if I hadn't had a 15-minute conversation with the students about their research interests. And I think, in this line of thinking, I think graduate students are important, probably more important than faculty, because graduate students tend to have, not the knocker, faculty, but graduate students tend to have fresh ideas, new perspectives, new ways of looking at things, right? And more importantly, they have probably the most energy of anyone in the department. So it's very important for faculty and students to come together and work together and to create these new ideas and new directions in research. I think at the heart, that's a PhD program, and that's our PhD program and our master's program, of course. But it's fundamental to our PhD program. So I think it's also important because when you do research, and I think Dr. Cox mentioned this, you go out and you present your research. You're bringing, people are looking at you, but they're also looking at UCF. And so that's very important. That's very important to not only you, but to us as well, is for all of us to get out and get your name and UCF's name out in the public and show them, look, we're doing great things at the university. And finally, I think it's the final purpose of collaboration and why it's so important. And I'll end with this is because that's kind of where the training happens. I think when you work with faculty, we learn tricks of the trade as we're being trained. And so we're really eager to pass on those tricks of the trade to you, not in just analysis and methodologies, but in writing and stuff like that. I learned a lot of tricks of the trade. So it's very important. Collaboration is for graduate students to pick up those tricks of the trade. So all in all, welcome to the sociology department, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. We appreciate your comments. And I'm loving these quiet applauses. They're amazing. Next up, we are going to go to our next two speakers that are going to talk about the breadth and the depth of the different research methodologies in our department. And I've asked two speakers here to show sort of both the qualitative and quantitative side of the department. So next up, we have Dr. Amy Rechtenwald and Dr. Amanda Kuntz, who are both going to share their perspectives, and they're both associate professors in the department. So if you two could take it away, please, the floor is yours.
Nope. There. Thanks, Tim, for the introduction. I'm happy to talk about what I consider a tremendous strength of our department, which is the array of research methodologies that we offer to our students, in addition to the required courses that are offered for the master's and doctoral students that go over various research methodologies and different types of data analysis. Our faculty specialize in various quantitative or qualitative methodologies or some sort of combination of both. And they welcome opportunities to strengthen student skills through collaborations. And I will say that that is really the best part of my job, is working with students. I can see a few students here that I'm working currently with, but kind of to go along with what Dr. Carter was saying, having different ideas and just trying to work through different projects with students is really a highlight of my job. In particular to the department and quantitative methods, though there is a clear overlap with qualitative methods, we have faculty that have expertise in survey research, GIS, experimental designs, faculty that do evaluation research, and a lot of faculty that analyze secondary data, various sources. My research in particular is crime related and generally quantitative in nature, so I wanted to just discuss a little bit about my research. I generally specialize in large secondary data sets, particularly agency records from different government agencies like the FBI or the CDC, also the Census Bureau, but also local law enforcement agencies. I've used police records to evaluate a strangulation prevention program in a county in Florida. I've also examined intimate partner homicide and other different type of offenses using supplemental homicide reports and the National Violent Death Reporting System. And I'm currently working on a number of different projects, but one that uses public court records to look at prosecution outcomes for domestic violence victims, and then forensic medical exams to get a better idea of strangulation victims' experiences during an attack. I also specialize in survey research. I'm currently working on a project in collaboration with the Violence Against Women Cluster, where we're surveying prosecutors, law enforcement, and victim advocates to see their experiences during the pandemic and to kind of determine whether or not domestic violence calls and cases have changed. Those are just a few examples of some of the projects I've done, and really just kind of a small piece of a larger collection of methodologies that our department uses or that are used by our faculty. Now I guess I'll pass it over to Dr. Kuntz, and she can talk about the qualitative side or strengths in our department.
Great, thanks. Yeah, I think what I'm enjoying is that most of us had to, we were working through some of these ideas and what we're thinking about our points of pride were individually, and now we're coming together. And actually, I'm really excited about the overlaps because I was going to start by saying that while I specialize in qualitative methods and theory, the point of pride is the diversity of our methods. And you can already see this through what we're discussing with our collaborations, because the collaborations are across faculty and students, across subfields, and oftentimes they are mixed methods. And I think that is something unique in that we are not a department that desires to be siloed. This is not a you do quantitative. Instead, I believe our approach is how are we going to help to contribute to issues, help our community further sociological research. So we additionally do have to discuss confident in your methods, appropriate to your research questions and interests, and to further develop the training that will help you pursue your career goals. What is important to us as faculty is that you are able to start your own research career, capturing what is important to you, examining the critical social issues that we are facing, as I mentioned, locally, nationally, and globally. As the current situation is highlighting even more, we must always be ready to pivot our research according to new technologies that come up along the way. New questions that arise as we've begun a research project, or issues that we simply face in our data collection. We work with people, and people are unpredictable. So, for instance, while I was completing fieldwork, I now have constructed a survey to distribute during this time of social distancing to ensure that I can capture timely data and then hopefully bring it together with my fieldwork. So once again, this is not that I specialize in qualitative, and so I will not adopt other methodologies or students who have a different interest. Is to answer these questions. Also, I helped to my students update one of our on identity and success to account for how these changes are affecting us personally and professionally. So we're completing interviews now via Zoom and over the phone. I give these your research development, professional socialization, and to help provide insight into social issues and social justice. It's not to promote a certain methodology or out of tradition or even just a personal preference. To come back to my research, just a little bit more, I do also have a wide variety big projects that I'm working on and would love to talk more about with any of you all. Working on empowerment, gender issues based in focus groups with women faculty. I have 2 articles based on content analysis and historical narratives. This is on guitar authenticity work and microbreweries as family-friendly spaces, and revisiting some work on content analysis, field work, and interviews on artists, art world legitimation, and space in place. So once again, you can see that we are more than happy to work with you all on these different types of, whether it's interviews, focus groups, maybe even innovative ways of using social media for a new form of field work. So thank you so much for being with us all today.
Thank you, Drs. Reckenwald and Dr. Kuntz, for those comments about methodologies in our department. Next up, we're going to turn it over to Dr. Fernando Rivera, who is a professor of sociology and also the director of the Puerto Rico Research Hub. He's going to share a little bit about how our department connects with broader society. So Dr. Rivera, please take it away.
All right. So thank you everybody for being here. One of the things of being next to last is that almost everything that you need to know has been said. So I don't have to dwell too much on that. One of the things, right? So we talked about, you know, all the work that is going on in violence against women, homelessness, Dr. Hawthorne and the GeoBus. We work with Veterans Affairs, homicide, FBI, the Human Trafficking Group, different law enforcement, analysis of the media, and all those type of things. And I think it's important. Sometimes we lose the privilege that we have as professors, as grad students, that we have an expertise that we need to share with the wider society. And that's something that sometimes we don't do as often. We study ourselves and we give results to ourselves. And I think we need to push those boundaries so we become an advocate of the things that we do research upon. And they actually become kind of like that voice out here, especially for underrepresented communities. I'm a fan of storytelling, right? So I'm going to tell you a story just to signify all those type of things. No surprise that if you don't know that I'm from Puerto Rico. So in September 20th, 2017, there was a major hurricane that struck the island of Puerto Rico. And basically, there's a large diaspora of Puerto Ricans here in Central Florida. So basically, we were dying to see what can we do in terms of how can we utilize the research that we're doing out here and do it for the good. And I remember that I talked to Dr. Hawthorne, and we had a postdoc from another grant, and he had some students from prior research that he was doing, and we went down to Puerto Rico, right? And that was maybe 5 months after the storm, right? We couldn't find a hotel. We had a sweet Airbnb, though, in Old San Juan. But the point of it, right, in terms of, so I did, so it happens, it just happens that Nancy Alvarez, which is the local newscaster here for Channel 9 News, happened to be in Puerto Rico at the same time. And actually I said, hey, and I sort of met her in a gathering with some people, and I sent her kind of like a direct message on Twitter and said like, hey, I'm here, you're here, you want to do an interview? And we did. So basically we did this interview. So we were in San Juan, Puerto Rico for a news story in Orlando, right? And I think that was very important because this was pre-GeoBus and pre-Puerto Rico Research Hub. That sometimes, you know, that type of influence that we have, I think that gave us some type of legitimate voice within the community, right? And sometimes, you know, I have to admit that of all the studies that we do and everything that we do, that 30-second clip on TV, people are going to remember you more than that drawn-out paper that you had out there on the Revise and Read Summit for a long time. And I think that's sort of the power that we have in terms of thinking about what we do, not only sort of the academic context out there, but also how can we use this expertise out here. And, you know, I know that faculty in the department have been used in different task force for Orange County, for the city of Orlando, worldwide in terms of different groups, different natural associations, all those type of groups out there that are important. You know, sometimes when the aides of Congress people actually come to you to know more about a specific issue, you're impacting policy. And I think that's very important to share that expertise, that you actually might change a policy and that you have the expertise to do so. And, you know, nowadays, you know, it seems like with social media, everybody is a so-called expert and people have different conspiracies and all sorts of things. So I think we need to push that narrative that the work that we do is not only the boundaries within the university, but that they surface the broader society out here, and that we have to make a concerted effort to make sure that we provide that information to other people, not only to the media, but to other outlets, because at the end of the day, we have to use sort of that recognition that we have to make sure that, you know, we have an impact on policies. So I have a timer, so I am done. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Rivera, for those important comments. And last but not least, in our lightning talks here, we have Ms. Kayla Tui, who is a current PhD student in our department. She's going to share a little bit about the opportunities for gaining teaching experience and also teaching your own class in the Department of Sociology. So Kayla, please take it away.
Dr. Hawthorne, thank you for introducing me. My name is Kayla Tui, and I'm a third-year PhD student. I have had the privilege of teaching a couple of classes so far, and today I just wanted to touch on a couple of main points that I believe are really important and very valuable for us as students teaching in the sociology, department. So first, I'd like to talk about the value of teaching experience. Being able to teach or gain teaching experience during your PhD program is a valuable way in which to enrich your skill set as an academic. Not only are you gaining the experience of speaking to a large audience, you are also able to learn more about the subject that you're teaching and apply what you've learned in an enriched environment where your students are engaged and interested. Teaching in the university classroom gives us the opportunity to enhance our interpersonal skills, our ability to adapt when things don't go as planned, because what's teaching without technology malfunctions or any other unpredictable circumstance? And it also teaches us discipline in executing our ability to inform others on important subjects that we have had a large majority of time spent studying. Additionally, teaching is an opportunity. The teaching experience that you gain in this program is not only valuable, it's a wonderful opportunity for each of us. The opportunity to teach undergraduate classes while working on our degrees gives us additional experience in our field before we venture out on the job market. It also grants us the opportunity to continuously learn from our students, the mistakes that we make, and the successes that we experience both within the classroom setting and outside of the classroom in our engagements with one another and with our students. The opportunity to facilitate another's education is one we should not take lightly. We are in a unique position to shape the way that students learn about important topics in a wealth of different areas. Not only is teaching an opportunity to enhance our career skills and our ability to engage with many different people from many different backgrounds, it is also an opportunity to create a learning community unlike any other. We have the responsibility to our students to ensure that they are exposed to the quality of education that higher education professes to provide us. Now, you might be asking yourself as an incoming PhD student or master's student, how do I balance teaching with the requirements of a PhD program? Well, while teaching is a valuable way to build on our individual skill sets and a wonderful opportunity in so many ways, it also shows us the importance of preparation, planning, and balance. As graduate students, we have many different obligations and requirements to complete our degrees. It can be difficult to balance our roles as students and educators while we progress through our graduate studies. Personally, I found the first semester of teaching incredibly challenging, but overwhelmingly valuable in the experience that I gained and the relationships I was able to form with my students. I found that in order to be successful in the roles I was assigned to fulfill, time management was a key skill set that I had to further develop. Additionally, you must remember to give yourself a little bit of grace, and don't forget to laugh, especially if you feel yourself stumble. None of us are perfect educators, and we all have much to learn from one another. Teaching is not a solo journey. You receive help from many others along the way, from the administrative professionals in our front office to the professors that you work with on a daily basis. Your teaching journey will be filled with helpful advice and hopefully some wonderful resources that will aid you in your development as an educator. In closing, your experience teaching in the classroom will be one of the most challenging and rewarding parts of your graduate student career. There will be days when you question whether or not you can step in front of your class and perform, and then there will be days when you walk out of your classroom with the biggest smile on your face. You will learn and grow in a variety of ways, and you will show yourself how capable you are in dealing with a diverse set of circumstances. I'm excited for your teaching journey, and I wish you the best of luck in all you do within our program. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Kayla, for those insightful comments. That concludes the lightning round of talks of our points of pride in the department. So thank you to all. I think we have not lost very many people, which is a testament to the dynamic comments that our presenters have shared. So first of all, I want to give a quick virtual applause to the presenters for sharing their wonderful advice. And again, to all of you for sharing your time. I know your time is very valuable. So I hope in this first 55 minutes or so, you've had a chance to understand a little bit more about what our department is all about. So for the current and incoming students, again, I'll repose the question that we started with, and that is, what makes us uniquely sociology? I hope as you continue on in your graduate journey in our department that you think about that question, think about how it resonates across your methodologies, your theoretical framings, and the way you communicate your science and your social science of what you do as well. Because I think at the end of the day, being a scholar, as many have said today, is a very privileged position, and you have an opportunity to influence policy, change, and the world around you in ways that are just really exciting, stressful, and also really just dynamic. So again, I appreciate everyone taking the time to meet with us today. And now what we're going to do in the next couple of minutes is we're going to transition into the breakout rooms. Knock on wood, so far the technology has worked very, very well. And what we're going to do is we're going to break into 3 rooms. What we have done with the breakout rooms is we have tried to create a mix in the rooms of students, faculty, alumni, and outside partners and staff, and tried to create a mix in each of those 3 rooms. The goal for each of those rooms is really just to have a dialogue and a conversation and ask questions and get to know each other. There's no real agenda, no reporting back, but it's just a space to have more free-flowing dialogue as well. And we're very privileged to have 3 moderators for each of those sessions, 3 additional faculty from our department that have agreed to kind of pose a few questions and a few opening comments to get these breakout rooms started. So before we get into the breakout rooms, I want to introduce the 3 faculty that will be leading us in this next section. First, in breakout room number 1, we have Dr. Bumi Thakur, who is an assistant professor of sociology in our department. She'll be leading breakout room 1 and about 20 or so participants in that room. In breakout room session number 2, we have Dr. Allison Cares, who is an associate professor of sociology in our department. She'll be moderating a group of also about 20 or so participants in breakout room number 2. In breakout room number 3, last but not least, we have Dr. Liz Grauerholz, who is a professor of sociology in our department. She also will be leading a group of folks in discussion. Again, with the breakout rooms, anything is fair game. We're open to dialoguing and conversing with one another. And so what we are going to do, we have on the line here Ms. Bridget Burke, who is our graduate admissions coordinator for the department and all-around amazing staff member. She is a co-host of this session, and she has the controls for the breakout rooms, I believe. So Bridget, do you want to just really briefly share with everyone how this is going to work, and then kind of moving forward?
Yes, once I hit the button to open the rooms, you should automatically be moved into the breakout rooms that you're assigned to. You can dialogue with the facilitator, with other students, ask questions. You can still post questions in the chat if you like. If we're not able to get to your question, obviously you can touch base with me, Dr. Hawthorne, or any of the faculty after the fact. And whenever you're ready to leave the room, all you have to do is exit Zoom, or you can just return back to the main meeting area. And I will be in the rooms. I'm going to start with room 1, and I'll kind of bounce around if anybody has admissions questions, questions about the academic process, that type of thing, I'm more than happy to assist as well.
And before we get into the breakout sessions, I just want to again reiterate our thanks for all of you for attending today. And also pointing out, as Ashley alluded to at the beginning, there will be several additional events over the summer, of course, optional events, but we'd love to continue the dialogue and discussion with faculty and staff in a virtual space and with our new graduate students. And also, as Ashley mentioned, we want to create spaces where it's just student-only voices having a conversation without faculty and staff. So you'll be hearing more from both Ashley and I over the next few weeks about additional events and also some virtual videos that we'll be putting up to give you a better sense of some of the things you heard about today. So without further ado, we're going to turn it over to the breakout rooms and back to Bridget. So see you all in the breakout rooms for the next 30 minutes. Hey everyone, I wanted to thank you all for joining us in the virtual open house to discuss how we are all uniquely UCF Sociology. Your time, your talents, and your conversation really showed what our department is all about and what our graduate program is all about. So whether you're an incoming or returning student, we want to welcome you back. We're very excited to be with you. For our faculty, staff, and our partners, thank you for all that you do to inspire our students and collaborate with them. Together, we are all uniquely UCF Sociology. We cannot wait to get the fall semester started. Thanks everyone, have a great summer, and more very soon.